Hi, grade 5, 6s. So today we're going to be doing two things. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to review what we would have learned in the last two lessons about the Earth's revolution and rotation and how that helps us to measure time, seasons, and understand the difference between daytime and nighttime. The second thing we're going to do is then we are going to start to talk about the solar system as a whole, not just the planet Earth. And I'm going to be introducing you to 3 of the 8 primary planets. Today we'll be briefly talking about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. I'm not going to give you a lot of details about these planets because that is going to be part of your assignment for today, which I will explain towards the end of the presentation. So here we go. So at the beginning of the year, when we first, at the beginning of the unit, when we first started to talk about the universe, we found out from reading our textbook that originally many people thought that we lived in an Earth-centered universe. This means that they thought that all planets and the sun rotated around the Earth and that Earth was in the middle of this system. What we found out eventually through more lessons is that actually live in what we call a sun-centered universe, where all planets rotate around the sun, such as Earth. So when the Earth rotates around the sun completely, this is called a revolution. We learned that it takes the Earth about 364 and a fourth days to make a complete revolution. That is why we have 365 days in a calendar year, because that's how long it takes the Earth to make a full rotation around the sun. The Earth rotates on its axis, and when it does this, usually one side faces the sun, while the other side faces away. This is why we have daytime and nighttime. Those two things occur depending on which part of the Earth's hemisphere is facing the sun. We also learned about the Earth's seasons and how they're caused by Earth's tilted axis and the revolution around the sun. So, for example, we live in the northern hemisphere. Canada is located in the northern hemisphere. So, in January, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. This results in the season of winter because we are not receiving any sunlight. Now, people who live in the southern hemisphere, at the bottom part of the globe, such as people who would live in Australia, they live in the southern hemisphere, they would be experiencing summer when we would be experiencing winter. So our seasons depend on how the Earth is tilted and its revolution around the sun. When the Earth's tilted axis is at a center, this is what creates spring and fall. Overall, what we should have learned from those two previous lessons is that all of these things that we now know about Earth's revolution and rotation help us to better understand why we have seasons, daytime and nighttime, and why we consider a full year 365 days. So the Earth's rotation helps us to measure time. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the solar system. For many centuries, people have observed objects other than the moon moving in the night sky. They noticed that some of these bright, star-like objects changed position from night to night. Over the course of about 200 years, people began to understand what was happening. Nicholas Copernicus discovered how the planets circled the sun in their own orbits. With the invention of the telescope, Galileo Galilei discovered that the bright objects were other worlds, different from stars, with their own features and moons. Johann Kepler figured out that the laws of planetary motion, and Isaac Newton explained the physics behind Kepler's laws. Together, all of these men and others concluded that these planets, Earth, asteroids, dust, gases, and other objects that orbit the sun form what we know as our solar system. So far we have talked about comets, we've talked about meteors, we've talked about Earth. Today we're going to be moving on and talking about 3 of the other elements in our solar system, which are 3 of the 8 primary planets, which are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. It's also the closest planet to the sun. Venus spins slowly, and it also spins in the opposite direction from the other planets. Venus is actually considered to be one of the hottest planets in our solar system. Mars is dusty and cold, but there is evidence from billions of years ago that Mars was actually warmer and more wet than it is today. So the reason why I'm only giving you so many facts about these planets is because I actually want you to do more in-depth research on your own. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the planets that we discussed very briefly today. So only choose one. So you can choose either Mercury, Venus, or Mars. And what I'd like you to do is I would like you to do research online and find out some facts about one of these planets. I'm going to show you a website that I recommend. You don't have to use it, but it is probably the most up-to-date information that we would know. And it has the information about the planets really well laid out. So I'm going to show that to you now. So in your URL browser, you're going to type solarsystem.nasa.gov. You can put the /planets if you want, but it's pretty easy to find once you get to the homepage. So all I'm going to do is click on what is a planet. You can see there are the first 3 minutes talked about, also Earth, which we've been about for a few lessons. If you click the picture, it will bring a whole separate page, and the page will be full of facts you can use to fill your research sheet. I'm going to show you the research sheet now that I'd like you to know. So like I said, this is for you if you're looking to find information that's accurate about those 3 planets in our solar system. So in the Google Classroom, when you click on the assignment, you're going to find a Google Slides document called Planet Research Part 1. You only have to complete the page for the planet you're choosing. You don't have to do all 3 of these, so just sure you remember that. And all you're going to do is you're going to click in the Insert Text Here boxes, and that's where you can put your facts. So by the looks of this page, I'm expecting you to have 6 facts about the planet you're choosing. When you're finished and you've filled out your sheet for the planet you've chosen, you can just delete the other 2 pages in the Google Doc. You don't need to leave them there. So this is the first part of the assignment. Pick a planet, do research, and then fill out sheet in the Planet Research Part 1 Google Slides document. Now there is a Part 2, and I'm going to show you that now. 2 is that you're going to listen to Gustav Holst's musical interpretation of the planet you chose. So I will leave a link to the YouTube videos that got this, the assignment. For example, you chose Mercury. When you open up the YouTube playlist, I'm going to show you that now. You will choose the planet that you did your research paper about. So for example, if I chose Mercury, I would click on the video that says Mercury. I would listen to the musical interpretation, and then I'm going to talk about it in a Google Doc. So after I've listened to the YouTube video for the planet that I chose, I can either write a paragraph about what I heard, or I can draw a picture about what I heard or something that I might have learned about the planet, whatever kind of comes to mind when you're listening to the music. So that's an optional thing. You have to do this. You have to do this part of the assignment, but you can. I mean, when I say an optional, I mean you can either choose to write a paragraph or draw the picture. You don't have to do both. You just have to do one. So that's the 4 parts. You choose a planet, research it, and fill out the research page I've given. Listen to the musical interpretation that goes with it, and then reflect on what you heard when you listened to that music. So that is it for the assignment for today. If you have any questions, you can message me in the classroom, comment on the assignment, send a Gmail message if you need to reach out. And good luck, and we'll be chatting soon. Bye.